Massive protests are going on in the Centura tribe between people who support racing and those who oppose the tradition. Llyod is observing all this like a true badass. Extreme conservatives demand the execution of those who deny the tribe's spirit and tradition. On the other hand, extreme liberals call to disband the tribe and its beliefs. Llyod, sitting on his chair, watches all this unfold. Cheranin asks Llyod what he is planning and why he started a fight. Llyod replies that he didn't start a fight, he just pointed out the dangers of racing after the recent accident. Cheranin can do nothing but watch him. Suddenly, someone asks what all the commotion is about. It's none other than the chief of the tribe, Cherakin. The chief angrily tells Llyod that he was supposed to solve the tribe's speed issue and demands to know what he is trying to do. Llyod politely says that he was just fulfilling his duty, but there is a difficulty as the tribe's people have differing opinions. One side wants to run anywhere, anytime, while the other side wants to abolish the tradition altogether. Llyod suggests setting some speed regulations, like no sprinting in the village and no competitions in the village. Villagers tell him to get lost, saying it's unfair. Llyod then proposes building a large sprinting arena where all competitions will be held, with no obstacles, eliminating accidents and allowing new records to be achieved. This idea receives cheers from many people, but some still oppose it. Suddenly, the chief calls it nonsense, stating that their instinct to sprint and respond immediately in any situation has saved them in great tribal wars and is a long-lasting tradition. However, the people surround the chief, telling him that the human is right and it's time for a change to prevent more accidents. Cheranin declares that even if her dad opposes, she will push through and approve the construction of the arena. Cherakin tells her that she can go to the arena by herself, saying the tribe is splitting into two. Cheranin says there is no other choice. Some suggest the chief kick out Llyod, but the chief says that because of Llyod, there is no turning back, otherwise, the tribe will split into two. He asks Llyod if he is determined to push through with the construction of the arena. Llyod says he will if the chief approves it. Suddenly, Cherakin challenges Llyod to a duel, saying if he wins, Llyod will have to leave immediately, but if Llyod wins, the construction of the arena will proceed. Llyod is completely prepared for the race. Javier asks if Llyod has agreed to the terms of no flying and no riding on his pet, so does Llyod have any tricks up his sleeves? Llyod says no, he will just run. Javier reminds Llyod that Cherakin has a record of 380 consecutive victories, making it unlikely for Llyod to win. Llyod says the race is about reaching the starting point after going through all the checkpoints and, as the challenger, he has chosen the checkpoints. The checkpoint comes after a crazy trip of 600 kilometers to the northern border of the Magentana kingdom, which Llyod sees as his advantage as a human. Both Cherakin and Llyod are completely prepared for the race. Llyod begins by explaining that everyone thinks humans are weak animals, even weaker than a small chimpanzee. It's hard to find an animal slower than humans among all mammals. However, contrary to popular belief, humans are much stronger. The race begins and Cherakin is already very far ahead. But Llyod starts slowly, gradually beginning to jog. People start to laugh, thinking the match is already over, calling Llyod a two-legged animal who is totally pathetic. Llyod starts thinking about why humans are the most advanced civilization despite being physically inferior to others. It is because, firstly, humans are very smart, and secondly, because of their overwhelming ability to run long distances. In the next scene, Llyod is slowly jogging. He thinks that although he is nowhere near as fast as a four-legged muscle monster with explosive speed, he can preserve energy because he has two legs. He can even regulate heat within his body through perspiration. He considers this the greatest kind of body in the history of Earth that managed to successfully hunt even in hell. Suddenly, he sees Cherakin sitting and resting. Llyod mockingly says it looks like the 380-win champion ran too fast in the first half. Llyod smiles as he already knew this would happen when he started. As soon as Llyod reaches closer to Cherakin, he is shocked to see that Cherakin looks so normal. Llyod didn't expect that. Cherokee says that long distances are tiring. Even though Centuras are really fast, they get tired quickly. Cherokee tells Llyod that he suggested this race because he knew about this fact and calls Llyod really smart. But then he says Llyod made a big mistake because he didn't take recovery speed into account. Llyod is shocked to hear that. Suddenly, Cherokee leaves the place with great speed. Llyod realizes this and is shocked. Then he calms down and thinks that he just needs to run at his own pace to the end, just like he started. But then he meets Cherokee again. Cherokee shows him a salute and then speeds up again, leaving Llyod shocked. Llyod thinks that he is not going to win and this is a losing race. He begins to think of using an energizer or using a blast to catch up with Cherokee. Llyod shakes his head and says to himself that this is a fight of pace and endurance. Llyod is really tired, but then he reaches close to the Magentano Empire's northern border. There, he meets Cherokee, already waiting for him. Cherokee says that he wanted to go already but then decided to wait for Llyod, and Llyod made him wait for so long. Then Cherokee speeds back to the starting point. Llyod is losing hope and he says that he doesn't care about the arena anymore because he is not going to win, but then he wonders what he is going to do about Top. The idea of stealing comes to his mind as he is not obligated to solve the problem of the Centuras. But then the picture of Shumahul and Cherokee comes to his mind. This makes him run faster and try his best. On the other hand, Cherokee is sitting on a rock completely tired. It's nighttime and Llyod is still running, and at one point, he leaves Cherokee behind. Even though tired, Cherokee gets up and runs fast, surpassing Llyod again. Cherokee is really tired. He tries to run but at one point he falls down in the flowering valley. He says to himself that he is no longer like he was in his prime and his recovery speed has weakened. The plan of retirement comes into his mind, but suddenly the picture of his daughter and Shumahul comes into his mind. Cherokee then gets up and starts running, because he knows his daughter loves Shumahul but he cannot ignore the tradition. The speed of Cherokee has significantly reduced and Llyod is closing in. Llyod is completely in sweat and tired, but he is still running. Cherokee then roars and starts running even faster because he does not want to lose to Llyod as he cannot let go of the old tradition. Both of them have reached close to the finishing line. Everyone, including Cherokee, is looking at them, clearly surprised. Both Llyod and Cherokee are neck and neck. Both of them are giving their full potential to win. Javier looks at this and says that the new chief would be ahead and he thinks that Llyod is out of mana but he might have something up his sleeve because his depleted mana always comes back in an explosive manner. Suddenly, a message window pops up asking if he wants to use the energizer. But Llyod does not respond and keeps on running. Javier is shocked to see this. Llyod is wondering why this old man is not falling yet. But Cherokee keeps saying, "Overcome myself," to motivate himself to win. Llyod is just about to lose, but suddenly he starts feeling heavy, like he is at his limit. He reaches back to his past memory of Kim Suho. Kim is bleeding through his nose. But his best friend comes to him and asks him to raise his head if he doesn't want to lose blood and starts wiping Kim's nose. Kim says he isn't asking for help and can do it himself. The friend goes back to his place, and Kim apologizes to him because he had a nosebleed while eating. The friend looks at him and then asks if he doesn't feel strange because Kim is very unbalanced. Kim asks what he means. The friend explains that Llyod is very smart and has great tenacity, but how can someone like him not have self-confidence, as Kim always lacks in that department. The friend says that it seems like Kim is from some other world and can't get used to this world. There are many comics where the hero is incredible and powerful in some world but can't even eat properly when they're in this world. Llyod replies that he is quiet since his birth. Then the friend goes to Kim again, stops his bleeding nose, and tells him that he won't be able to buy him food anymore because his father and mother got caught cheating people with a politician, and soon they are going to be found guilty and become penniless beggars. He tells him he doesn't have any money to buy anything anymore, and Kim doesn't have to meet him. Kim asks what he is talking about because he is the only friend Kim has and has done so much for him. The friend tells Kim that friends are about give and take, and what can Kim possibly learn by sticking with him? The friend says that the reason he sticks with Kim is because he is awesome, and no matter how horrible his situation is, he doesn't give up. The friend says that he comes from a wealthy family, and if he had to live in a situation like Kim's, he might not survive. He asks Kim how he becomes strong, to which Kim replies that he just does the usual stuff, everything, which is to study and work hard. This gives the friend motivation, and he says he just needs to go to the end, just like he first started. This motivates Llyod and gives him a lot of motivation, and his eyes start to shine. Javier is shocked by this. Llyod starts to run super fast and surpasses human capabilities. Javier wonders what is up with his tenacity. Even though he has overcome many difficult trials, this time he is not relying on mysterious abilities and wonders if it is normal for a human to display such mental power. He thinks to himself that initially it didn't matter to him who Llyod was in real life as long as he protected the world, but now he wants to know what kind of life Llyod lived in his own world. Everyone is watching the race, completely breathless. Finally, Llyod passes out, only to be woken up by Javier. He asks if he won, and Javier tells him that yes, he won again this time. Suddenly, the chief of the tribe tells everyone that today they will usher in a new age, declaring Llyod as the winner. Everyone begins to cheer. Llyod smiles because everything went according to his plan. But Javier asks him, curious about why he did not use his mysterious power. Llyod says that since the old man ran with all his heart, he didn't use the power because it would have felt like cheating. Javier says to Llyod that they should start the construction and that he will do whatever he can and give it his all for Master Llyod. Llyod is shocked and asks why Javier suddenly called him Master Llyod. Javier says that he did so because Llyod is someone worthy of being referred to as a master, and he will protect him even if it costs his life.